Hey, I'm ElusiveKev, Misano. Welcome back to MotoGP 17 and the manager career has... We're in Misano, not Aragon, so you probably won't visit Valencia. It seems like the season finale will be on the Sepang circuit in Malaysia instead of Valencia, so we're only having 3 visits to Spain this season, maybe. After that Silverstone catastrophe. Anyway, after the last race, MacDonald was so close to winning, despite falling twice in the race. And the Finn got his first top 5 finish as well, in Moto 2, Moto 3, 1-2. And the Argentine rider Arjanjo is right in the title battle. And the MotoGP team are still doing nothing. We're headed to, well, I'm guessing it's the 14th round technically. No, it's really the 13th round. And on a high, it's Team Elusive. All the teams are doing well, even the MotoGP team picking up the credits for the time being. Even they're not doing anything on that Yamaha, which is almost fully developed. They'll definitely be changing those riders for next season as we're going around this Misano circuit just gently on this first lap. As you can see, going wide again, so we definitely messed up this lap, but we do 2 qualifying laps now back to back. This first lap's a bit more of a warm up, and we just drove around this circuit, a road around this circuit on the MotoGP Yamaha. You saw MacDonald do his MotoGP debut, testing the bike, so he definitely knows the circuit. As he crossed the line with a 41.7, that's not a good lap time. It'll be at least a couple seconds quicker than that. It'll be right up there. He's done the fast lap for the time being. Let's see, come all the riders out now. Let's see what MacDonald can do on this lap. Get down to second. He's got the Tech 3 in front. Let's go through the right. Through the left there. He's confirmed by Olivier, 40.7. I was only a second off. That's not bad. And that's a cracking first sector from MacDonald, almost half a second up. He goes into the hairpin. Well, this traffic upsetting though. There's all he goes slightly wide in the hairpin. It's not too bad though. There are multiple lines out that hairpin, as you can see on the track as well. And he's still up, 1/4 of a second. Oh, he goes wide though in the right-hander. And he won't get the slipstream from this Tech 3 now. Through these corners, Morbidelli smashes Olivier's time, 40.2. Let's see if MacDonald's brave through these fast rights. This is very much a circuit of 2 different types into very slow. So he's got to go wide round the Tech 3. It has cost him this lap, but look at that, he's now 10th behind as he goes wide in the hairpin. Now into the penultimate corner, he can't carry the speed. As you can see, the Tech 3's right in front. Get off the racing line. What are you doing, Tech 3? Look at that, blocks MacDonald in the final corner as well. As he crossed this line, MacDonald. It's in the 40s, 40.8, but it could have been at least half a second faster. Take that, Tech 3. Only gentle into the back of Gardner, okay? Don't actually use your bike as a weapon on the circuit. Riders. As MacDonald still gets the top 10, still out qualified by the Finn. No, look at that. He's full of confidence. As they share the 3rd row alongside Nakagami, Shirotto rounds out the top 10. It's Luti, grab pile of Marquez and Morbidelli. It's Olivia Passini and Baldassari. As right at the back is Ika. So let's see if for the first time we've got 2 riders in the top 10 in qualifying. Can we get 2 riders on the podium maybe? As we are looking at the grid with Luti on pole. And looking at the 2nd row, we will see for the first time as well, MacDonald and the Finns share that 3rd row. Magnum and Light still right back together alongside Nakagami. So it's not a long run to the first corner though. It's going to be very tricky to make moves, very tricky sequence of corners as well in this first sector before that back straight. Just got to keep it clean.
Just a few more seconds for the race to start. Will those riders on the front row be able to make the most of their advantage? Or will Will those pre-race nerves get the better of them?
Yes, there is MacDonald alongside his teammate. Let's see how much he attacks this first corner then, as the lights appear. And go out for this 7-lap race. And he jumps his rope, look at the jump, the second rope. Inside Bassini, Baldassari round the outside of the Riviera has been caught up alongside MacDonald. MacDonald grabs 5th though, ahead of the Portuguese rider as it's the MotoGP pair of the lead, ahead of Luti. Baldassari right on their tail. It's Marquez leading Morbidelli as here comes MacDonald down the inside of Baldassari. You know those two don't like each other. You've got Xavi ahead of Bassini for 7th, and here comes MacDonald down the inside into the hairpin. Not quite, not in this first lap. Just settle in. It's a long race here, 7 laps. And you'll see that move quite a lot. Looking down the inside. Oh, Brad Binder's down on the KTM. Viviera's teammate. He goes slightly wide in that second right. That's smooth on the power. You see virtually no tyre wear. And there's open that so far. We're see the Mark VDS pair going to war with Luti. Oh, what are you doing, Thomas? Don't want to be in the middle of those pair fighting. He's hanging in there and he's got up to 2nd. Fantastic. As you've got Marquez in front. Morbidelli's taken back the lead. As they go a bit wide out of the hairpin. Oh, MacDonald got a very good line on Marquez. They're up to 3rd. Looking down the inside of Luti into the final corner, but breaks early. That was Marquez back past him. As we go on to the 2nd lap, we've got a top 4 fighting like a hell already. Morbidelli leading, Luti 2nd, Marquez 3rd, Donald 4th, Baldassari behind in 5th. So looks to go down the inside of Marquez. Saw the Spaniard was all over the place in his first couple of corners. Look at Luti all over the back of Morbidelli. So here comes Marquez. Oh, Marquez fighting back as Luti takes the lead from Morbidelli. Now the Italian leads out to MacDonald. And so does Luti as MacDonald takes the lead. Fantastic. Exit. Through that left hand. You can see why it's such an important corner. Getting that corner right. And what a smooth exit can do for you. Let's see what MacDonald can do now that you lead. Can he put away? Or is he just clinging on as it seems that MotoGP test with the Yamaha for this race seems to be paying off. He definitely is familiar with this circuit. He's very fast at the moment. Goes through the sequence of right-handers, goes slightly wider than the last one. Into the hairpin he leads by 7/10 of a second ahead of Morbidelli with Luti in 3rd. He's got the helicopter just floating above. Not really flying, just floating. Approach the final corner. Getting a bit cautious into it, but he gets a smooth exit. And sets a 40.2. Faster than his qualifying effort, but you saw why. With Remy Gardner on that lap. That would have put him right up there. In the 2nd row, I think, in qualifying. His pole was a 40 flat from Luti. Seems the right-hander. Just about. For the right-handers properly. He's got a 2nd lead on Morbidelli. Marquez in 3rd, Luti down to 4th, Baldassari 5th. This race has already settled down on this 3rd lap. So MacDonald goes very wide in the hairpin. I'm sure the sponsors won't be happy with that, having a bike going all over tyres in. MacDonald very cautious in the double right. You don't want to be cautious and let Morbidelli back into this race. His title rival wants to be taking the points off him. Wants Marquez to finish ahead of Morbidelli as well. That would be very helpful. Goes into the 3rd right. He's been sliding right on the exit, but just about keeps it together this time around, and Morbidelli is right behind. Look at that, half a second behind. With Marquez no doubt there as well. It's good through the corner, down to the final corner. Nice and smooth, that's it. Tyler's virtually non-existent so far as he gone to the 4th for that. 40.7 from MacDonald. You can see the pace is very fast this race. He virtually is a qualifying lap every single lap. Of course, he got to nick off the tyres as well. Very difficult to do around this circuit. As you can see, so many challenging corners. Just slightly wide through the left-hander, but he's got a second gap on Morbidelli, so he shouldn't be in too much trouble from the Mark VDS rider behind. So he gets it into the hairpin. Gets it towards the apex early, so not the best exit. Just goes into the double right. Still has a second gap on Morbidelli, and that's much better, much wider line into the first part. Allows it to be more arcing into the second part. That's what you want. You want to take those corners as one corner, really. A bit like in Malaysia that you see later in the year with those double rights. Gets it down to second for the third part there. That seems to be much better, as you saw. Now second and a half gap to Morbidelli behind. So over halfway through this race. MacDonald is charging for the title. Charging after Morbidelli. But so is Marcus, so is Oliveira. But the Italians held strong this season. Got out to an early lead with that amazing start. This MacDonald dips into the 39.8. More laps like that, MacDonald. On this 5th lap, hopefully. Yeah, Morbidelli's just held firm at the top. The Riviera's dropped back in a couple of races, dropping back this race. Marquez has as well. MacDonald, of course, had that poor start. So for Morbidelli, it's just about holding station, racking up the podium, scoring the points. So that's better for MacDonald, hugging that apex. Not scrambling into it like on the previous lap and then compromising the exit. It's got over a 2-second lead now on Morbidelli. The tyres own fine neck. Front tyre not as good as the rear tyre though, looking at the bottom right. But still, only around half worn. Just acceptable. So that's a much better turn in there. Getting it early into that third right-hander. Into the hairpin. Very wide though. 2.5 seconds ahead of Morbidelli though. Barely any thought through that penultimate corner. Just dabbing the brakes slightly. Into the final corner. As you can see, brake a bit deeper than you think you can. But then you kind of miss the apex slightly if you do that. It dips back into the 40s. 40.4 though. So very solid that time, and still has that 2.5 second lead on Morbidelli heading into this penultimate lap. Getting some more time on the Italian, more points. But not enough really, with only 4 races left after this. At least we think there are 4 races left. That's better than that left-hander onto this back straight. 3 second lead on Morbidelli. Marcus still in third. Wonder how our teammate is doing. So he's moved forward as well into the top 5. Bit of Baldassari. Or Luti. Looks like the Swiss rider has won that pace once again, but no race pace to back it up. Look at that, just taking tenths of a second out of Morbidelli. He's now fighting Marcus for second. There you go, Alex. That's what we need to see for the championship. So that's much better. Taking those last couple of corners as one corner. Definitely is better. We got 3.5 second lead. Morbidelli's taken back that second place head of Marquez though. Or slightly poor Panon at the corner as we go on to the final lap of the race. And here's MacDonald leading. See, there's a 40.1. Never been slower than a 40.7, which is very good race pace. You can see the tyres are nicely protected as well. Then onto this final lap, which have no issues. But it's all about who's winning that battle for second between Morbidelli and Marquez, big for the championship. Because Morbidelli racks up another second, and it can virtually be championship goodbye. About where he's riding, as Marquez does take it back from Morbidelli. 3.5 seconds back. Get into the hairpin. Taking the second line there. Not quite hugging the apex, but not wide either. That's what I love about that hairpin. So many different lines you can take. But Morbidelli's taking it back from Marquez. Seems like Alex is passing him at the beginning of straights, then Morbidelli can just slipstream by. Not sure if it's actually a tactic from the Italian. So just got to be smooth through these fast right-handers. Don't be pushing it. As there goes Marquez back past Morbidelli. Hopefully he's done it at the end of a straight. He has. Is Marquez ahead of Morbidelli? He's going to the penultimate corner for MacDonald. What a race. Battled his way to the front and then has never looked back since then. As the elusive rider wins again. Fantastic victory. Ahead of who though? Marquez wins that battle ahead of Morbidelli by a couple of tenths. Oliveira 4th, Luti 5th, our teammate in 6th. Fantastic result again for elusive ahead of Baldassarri, Sabi 8th, Bassini down in 9th in the end. The Bagnai 10th, Marini 11th, Danny Kent in 12th, Axel Pons 13th, Courtois 14th, and Shirota ahead of his fellow Suter rider Agata by a couple of tenths of second, as Isaac Bernardes was right at the back. So in the championship, Morbidelli leads by 22 points ahead of Marquez now, as him and Olivier are exchanging that second place every race, it seems like. MacDonald just 28 points back. How does that work maths-wise? Is that correct? And look at that, just 6 points separating second to fourth, 28 points separating the top four. MacDonald is definitely in it, just over a race win behind, with Baldassarri 5th, Bassini 6th, Luti 7th, Bagnai 8th, Savi 9th, and the Finn in 10th, just 4 points behind the Master Tactician, with Marini up to 11th ahead of Nakagami, who's right at the back of the field as well. Having a poor race, the Japanese rider, with Axel Pons up to 16th ahead of Isaac Bernardes. And further down you've got Raffin ahead of Xavier Simon in 27th, with Manzi getting the wooden spoon. And in constructor standings, it's counts by 113 points to the KTM, 240 points, not 240, 127 points ahead of Tech 3, Usuta in 4th and Speed Up in 5th. As yes, very happy MacDonald returning to winning ways. Probably should have had this in Silverstone, but yeah, he's definitely surfing the wave of momentum still. As our MotoGP pair once again right at the backbone. Moto2, MacDonald win, and the Finn in the top 6. Fantastic team result once again. And in Moto3, another 1-2 as the Argentine won from pole, with Andrea from 26th up to 2nd. And as you can see, the Argentine rider still 2nd in the championship, but he's sure you're going to grab first by the end of the season and win that championship with Andrea in 4th. As the Argentine rider has improved everything apart from body position. Andrea improves nothing, strangely. MacDonald improves his cornering and body position. Finn improves his braking and throttle management. And the MotoGP riders improved everything apart from their body positions. As, yeah, decent amount of credits and reputation earned. So we have got to rest after the last couple of races, no doubt after that Silverstone scenario. So we've got an activity day to do. You can go to the gym, do some muscle building for our riders, improve their throttle control ability by 100 XP. We'll do some muscle endurance training to improve their braking ability by 100 XP. or go to the coach and do some abs and back muscles training, improve their calling ability by 20%, or do an interview with a sports magazine to earn an extra credit bonus if you achieve the sponsored objectives by 100% in the next race. Well, I don't think we're doing an interview. It's all about improving the riders so far this season. So we're either going to the gym or getting them towards their coach. So next time out will be Aragon or Motegi. And their corners, which require quite a lot of good cornering. Well, it's a good throttle control coming out of those corners, especially around Aragon. So let's do some muscle building for our riders. As next time out, it says we're going to Motegi, as we've just got 6 weeks remaining of the season, maybe. But I think we're going to Aragon next time out for the 3rd visit to Spain this season. Can MacDonald win once again to get even closer to Morbidelli in that title battle? Can our MotoGP riders not finish last? Can the Finn score more points? And can our Moto3 team get another 1-2 as Andreas now race objectives is to finish 8th or above as well? Find out next time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you then.